of the players. This will double as their exit interview. So, Brian.
This was for you, man. You just explain how this moment feels to you, just going on an explosion tonight, and then also just all the hard work.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I'm just grateful. Like you said, I've really been working this season, every single day, and some days showed, some days didn't, and I was just stuck to the process, and I'm just really, really grateful to do it with the girls next to me. They made my first season memorable, and I seriously couldn't be more grateful for the people that I have around me. And I'm just excited for what's next. I'm excited for the future of this program.
Yes.
And, just excited, grateful.
We'll go to Julia and then Carly.
Maddie, just kind of building off of that, what do you think was the biggest learning curve for you as a rookie?
I think the biggest learning curve is just learning how to prioritize yourself first, no matter what, showing up every day and trying to be as consistent as possible, no matter what is going on. In college, it's very much you have that emotional attachment, to your teammates, to coaching staff, to everything. And in the pros, it's a little bit different because you kind of just got to keep going and keep that same focus every single day, no matter what, because at the end of the day, you're kind of your own entity. And so I've learned with that from my vets to, just take every day and, don't take it for granted.
And then just a quick follow-up for both of you guys. Heard obviously some chants from fans tonight, saw signs talking about, saw the team calling for certain personnel to be fired. Just kind of, how do you guys approach that as players? How does that make you guys feel when you're kind of in the last game?
It's distracting. It's been distracting.
Kia, this season for you has kind of been up and down. So what would be the number one takeaway for you this season, and what did you learn about yourself this season?
In all honesty, my goal coming into every season is always to play every game, to stay healthy for every game. And so came in and had a really good foundation built there to be able to do that, continued that with the help of our medical staff and Ann Crosby in the sports and strength and conditioning side as well. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being able to, I have a little Ironman streak going in my own head. So, I'll keep that rolling. And my resiliency. I think there was a lot of things that came up this season that I'd never dealt with before. And so just being able to compartmentalize, continue to be a leader, continue to be consistent. I think if you ask anybody in that locker room, I was consistent every single day that I showed up and how I behaved and how I treated others and how I competed. And so that was a big piece of what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, I was moving better on the floor than I had in a while. So.
And then to follow up, when this team was created, it was about veteran leadership coming in to kind of be that helping hand with a rookie head coach. How would you describe, from both of you, Maddie, what was the veteran leadership like for you in your rookie season? And then Kia, what are some things, throughout the season that you learned being a veteran leader on this team?
My vets were awesome. Seriously, I couldn't ask for better vets on my team. Literally from day one, I did a workout with E-Will, and she just let me know that she had my back. And that goes for every single girl in the locker room, every single woman in the locker room. To Kia, who would always remind me, like, literally every day. I remember she just said one day, like, she appreciated my approach. And that meant so much to me, because it's like you don't really know what you're doing is right, when you come in here. And so just those little reminders that I would get from them very, very frequently, it literally meant the world to me. I could ask them anything. They would tell me straight up, and they always had my back, and they always had a smile on their face no matter what. And I couldn't ask literally for anything better.
For me, I learned that I don't eat like the healthiest in the world, because Maddie is crazy healthy the way she eats. But really appreciative of being around a ton of vets. And, I think part of it is there was a really good communication between us and all the coaching staff. Obviously, I've had the opportunity to play alongside Tanisha in New York early in my career. But to be able to go in and have conversations with them, and there's a level of vulnerability, but there's also a great level of communication. So you never really wondered, what your role was that day or what your position was. I thought it was a great job for us as vets being able to have those conversations, and for those conversations to be handled really well. And I thought for the things that I learned a lot of it was communication styles, energy, and ultimately there was tons of points in the season, like there is with any other team. I've been on losing teams before. And there's tons of points in the season where the locker room can just absolutely crack and break. And I thought we did a great job of continuing to hold one another up and keep everybody going as best as we could. And that was from, us being in the locker room together, whether it was we needed to have a game night together or go laser tagging or just play Sky Joe on the plane. We did what we could to make sure that everybody was okay at all times. And so it was great to have that. And I learned a ton from all of the vets that we had.
Hey, Maddie, what would you say is Tyler's superpower? And then what would you say is an area of growth for him?
His superpower is, I think, his compassion. Every single day, no matter what, he was there for us and he had our backs. And, it was a season of up and downs, but he did not waver no matter what. Whether it was up, whether it was down, he was checking on me saying, how are you doing? And are you sure you're good? I would say an area of improvement is guarding me. No, I'm just playing. I was playing.
It is. He does try to guard her after every shoot around.
It's true.
Kia, aside from Maddie's incredibly healthy diet, what's something that really impressed you about her this year as she earned minutes, especially as the season went on?
Yeah, I mean, the way that Maddie said it, I was always really impressed with her approach. And when you come into this league, the biggest transition is that the accountability all comes onto you. And so it's not like people are like, get in the gym and do your workouts as if you want to. You text the coach and ask for some extra time, right? And there was points in the season where I'm pretty sure I told her to get out of the gym. Yeah. Because I said, when you're older, you'll learn your body needs a little more rest sometimes. But I think that was the big piece of it, was that every single day she was in there, she was working, she was giving buckets to Dave too. Cause I know Dave tried to guard her a couple times too. AJ tried to guard you, all the practice players. And I think that allowed her to be prepared for absolutely anything that came. And there was no complaining. There was no sour faces. It was, if I get 25 minutes today, I get 25 minutes. If I don't get any minutes, I don't get any minutes. I'm going to be a great teammate. And that's a lot to say about a young player coming into this league, because there is a lot of pressure and constant fear of, can I keep my spot? Can I be here? Do I belong? And Maddie absolutely belongs. And she proved that day in and day out with us. And so I know she said sometimes the work didn't show some days, but it showed to all of us every day.
Thank you.
Kia, similar to Alyssa's question, just what stood out to you about Tyler in his first season as a coach? And did you see any areas where you felt like maybe he grew from day one to now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Maddie nailed it on the head in terms of compassion. Like, he cares so much about all of us as individuals, but he also cares so much about our team and how we're faring. And I know there were probably off days when we could probably escape it a little bit if we needed to. And he was probably sitting there watching film and overthinking absolutely everything. And so what I do appreciate about him is how much he gives to this team. And I thought what we did a great job of was ATOs after timeouts. Anytime we got to go into a timeout and sit down and he could sit and draw a play, we'd scored on it, or we got a free throw. Like, we were great in ATOs. And so it's being able to translate that in the flow. And that's not something that he can do. That's something that we have to be better at as players. But I thought that was a great piece of it. And I think growth wise, like, he knew that there was a couple of things early on that I think he took, he took the hit on. And I thought he continued to grow in terms of, in-game adjustments, the flow of using all of your timeouts versus not needing to use your timeouts, when to use them, that kind of stuff. And I think he just got more comfortable with it. And so you could see that as the season went on. And so it was really good to see that from him.
We'll go to Christian, then we'll go to Brian, and then we'll close out with Mike.
Kia, as a veteran in this game, you probably have seen lots of different things, have been asked to, have met a lot of different challenges. But in this particular season, what is one aspect of your game on the court that you think that you did well or you adjusted to when you were called? And what was one thing that you struggle with? And I have a follow-up for Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, I think I continue to shoot the three ball pretty well. I shoot a lot of them. So the percentage-wise is going to be somewhere in the 30s to the 40s. Probably could have gotten a little higher to the 40s this year. But I thought I just moved better coming off of getting my legs back under me. I thought I did a great job in this off season of building a foundation where I had a lot more trust in my knees, especially. And so movement wise, I felt faster in that sense. I think I could continue to improve on just quick decision making. I think sometimes it's tough when you go to 3 teams in 4 years and you're trying to, by the end of the season, you feel really comfortable with your teammates because you've had some time with them, you get it under you. But the constant change is always a little bit difficult to get into. So just quicker decision making towards the beginning of the season probably would have been better. Yeah.
Thank you. Then Maddie, for you, this is your best game of the season. Everything came together. What about this matchup versus the Liberty that did you really like, that you think allowed everything that you've been working on all season to come together? And we also saw Angel coaching you up on the side. If you can share anything that she said to encourage you to go out there and have the game that you did today.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it necessarily was a matchup. I think it was more so the gratitude that I had playing with the girls that I was playing with, and the fact that it all came to the end. I just really wanted to be present and stay in the moment. And I think with that, I just, focused on supreme focus in the game. And I think that just is how it played out. And we were having fun. After every timeout, we would come out and say, let's smile, because we only have, 40 minutes left with each other. So just the joy and the focus of the game. And then Angel was just telling me to stay confident, excuse me, all season long. She's been telling me to stay confident. The work will show. And so I just appreciate her throughout the season for always saying that, always having my back with that.
Brian, close out with Mike. One piece, please.
Well, this was for you, Kia. Coaches lauded you for your perseverance of how you kind of handled the ups and downs of the season. Just want to get your thoughts on just how it feels to just kind of have that trust from your coach.
Yeah, it's huge. And like I mentioned before, I thought the communication this year was some of the best communication that I've had from coaches throughout my career. And so I really appreciated that. And no matter who you are in this league or in any of the professional leagues, the more that you have confidence from the people who are coaching you and from your teammates, the better you play. And so I felt like I was always really appreciative of that. And I felt like I belonged, and I felt like this was the right decision for me coming here out of free agency. And being able to go out there. And I mean, he said, if you see daylight, shoot it. So I did it quite a few times.
Close out with Mike on the left.
Ladies, of course, the season's ending a little bit sooner than you would have liked. You kind of talked about things that you're going to carry into the off season. But what's one thing that you're going to change within this off season? We know that there's a new practice facility coming as well. So it could be individually or even organizationally.
For me, now that I'm not a rookie anymore.
It's been like 10 minutes.
I know, but just let me enjoy it. No, I'm really excited to use my voice more. I think this first year I was really just intentional about being a sponge, wanted to listen to everyone. I wanted to learn as much as I could and ask as many questions as I could. And I've done that. And in this next year, I want to continue to do that, but also use my voice, because this year was a year of growth in so many different ways. And I gained a lot of experience, whether I was on the floor or not, just from the people around me. And so I just want to take that experience and create, continue to build culture, continue to build championship habits, and kind of spread that to my future teammates, to this organization.
I want to continue to grow as a leader. I have a lot of basketball this offseason with the national team, and playing at AU in Nashville. So having an opportunity to continue to grow, and then I want to eat more healthy like Maddie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a great offseason. Don't call anybody.
The game, I saw you and Maddie have like a moment there. Anything that you want to share just in that moment, just impart, just on kind of like your thoughts on her performance?
Yeah, man, her performance was great. I told her that she belongs in this league. I told her that there's not many second round picks that make it this far, and I told her with the team that there's no. We talk a lot about being present. We talk a lot about controlling what you can control. And for Maddie, I think she's the ultimate testament to that. I told the team it's not a coincidence that on the last day of the season that she has a game like that in the midst of what this season has been, and they see the work that she puts in daily with no complaints. She's had stretches where she hasn't played any minutes, stretches where she's expected to play big minutes, and it's a tough position for a rookie to be in. And this league, I think, is the toughest professional league in the world as a rookie because the expectations are so high and the learning curve and the room to adjust is so quick that we forget to give them grace as a player. And Maddie has lived up to those expectations in terms of what we saw when we were, scouting her in last offseason. And we're just incredibly proud of what she was able to do today, but we're more proud of the character that she's shown throughout this year. I think that's the embodiment of what and who we want this guy to be.
Maddie said the one thing that she really appreciated out of you all season has been the compassion that you've shown in building the relationships, not just with her, but with a lot of players. And that's something that we've heard from Coach Nakase and Becky Hammond. Why is that something that you really pride yourself on, is relationship building, and how impactful can it be, not just in your first year as a head coach, but also moving forward?
I think that's the best advice that I think that I've gotten coming into this role is that a lot of people, when they move up a spot or when they move a chair over, when they get elevated into a new role, they feel like that they got to change who they are to meet and fit the position. And I was told to make the position mine, make it fit me and who I am, and stay consistent to my personality and my values and my morals and how I was raised. And part of that is just knowing how to treat people. And if the worst thing that people can say about me is that I don't know basketball or my X's and O's don't work or whatever comes with the game, I'm okay with that. If it means that I got a locker room full of players that know that I care about them and a staff that knows that I care about them and will fight for them, I can let everything else go in one ear and out the other. But I just try to stay consistent with who I am. And I think that every role that I've been in, whether it's been a high school coach, a college coach, a WNBA coach, an NBA coach, a G League coach, player development, video coordinator, you name it. I think there's a lot of people that will speak to the consistency that I try to exude in terms of who I am as a person. And I just let that do the talking for me.
We'll go to Julia, then Naomi. Please limit follow-ups. We'll go back around if we have time.
Tyler, we know that a main goal for this franchise coming into this season was trying to establish this team as a little bit more of a target in free agency going into such a big free agency period. Do you feel like you guys accomplished that, and kind of what will that pitch look like as you guys get closer to free agency?
In some ways, yeah. I think that I think we're still trying to find that balance, but I think that when we pitch to free agents or whomever, we got to talk about the people that we have. We got to talk about who we want our organization to be about, or what we want our organization to be about, and how we pursue that and how we're committed to pursuing that. And hopefully the transparency in that is a reflection of what our values are individually and as an organization, and that we can outline a process that kind of is identical to that in terms of what we need to do moving forward. And so those will be talks that will continue to be had moving into the offseason. But right now and in this moment, regardless of the 10-34 record, I'm extremely proud to be sitting here as the head coach and with the team that I had, and I wouldn't have this first year to go any other way for me personally.
Coach, throughout the season, we've asked you what you wanted the identity of this team to be now that things have concluded. Things may have not turned out the way that you wanted. What would you consider the identity of this 2025 Sky team?
Selfless, resilient, and toughness. I think we came into the season with the moniker of committing and competing. And I thought for the majority of the season, we did that. And in a tough league with only 13 teams, sometimes the records aren't always reflective of what teams are capable of. And I think that in moments throughout this season, we've been able to show that. And in other times we've fallen short, but that's sports. And, all we can do is continue to get up and keep fighting. And I think that, again, on a night like tonight, the last game of the season with 7 players against a championship contending team, you saw a team that continued to fight. And with 2 of our best players down, 3 of our best players down. And so I think that speaks to the character of that locker room as well.
Hey, Coach. I feel like this season you have really tried to protect your players from criticism on the outside. Who in your life is protecting you?
God, first and foremost. I lean pretty heavily into my faith. My family. It's one of the reasons my father's employed here, and so he better be doing it. My wife. And I think a lot of ways who doesn't even know it yet, my son. The losses don't hurt as much. The criticism doesn't hurt as much once I walk through the doors at home and I have to be dad and I got to be a husband. And for me, that allows things to stay in perspective. I got 12 kids here. I got to worry about some my age and some younger, but no, I'm protective of them, but I'm protective of the people that I love as well. And that won't change.
Coach, both Kia and Maddie spoke highly about that compassion that we talked about earlier as one of your strengths. They said your weakness is being able to guard Maddie in 1v1s after practices.
Fair. That's fair.
But what would you say is an aspect of your coaching that you feel maybe didn't quite hit this team as well this year that you'd like to kind of focus more on going into next season?
I think maybe the level of consistency of in-game play at times. I think even more so than that, maybe just I think someone that prides themselves again on relationships and building that. There's a natural sense of wanting everyone to feel comfortable and happy, and sometimes you got to make things uncomfortable and got to be okay with some people being unhappy at times, whether that's on your staff, whether that's in front office, whether that's your players. That's part of the responsibility that comes with sitting in that seat, and it's understanding that when you make decisions, it's best for the team with the team in mind. Everyone's not always going to be in a good place, and so what you have to do though is, upon making those decisions, you got to follow up and make sure that everyone knows that it's not anything personal. And so I think from that standpoint, it's something that I'll continue to grow into and work on in terms of just understanding that you're not always going to please everyone, and that's okay.
We'll go to Hope and then Andy, and we'll go to follow-ups.
Coach, you've talked a lot this year about different challenges that the team and that you have faced. But outside of the box score even, what do you think has been the challenge that you've worked hardest to alleviate this season?
I think that if you only paid attention to the outside, you would think that we were just a completely broken and fractured team. And if you've been to our practices and our shoot-arounds, you would see quite the opposite. They're a connected bunch that, and for those that have been involved and played in sports, no team is absolved of going through tough times or hitting adversity in many different types, in many different forms. And I think for us and our organization, there's a stigma right now that has come with us, and not in a positive way. And fairly or unfairly, I think that for our players that fight every day for each other and for themselves, it's tough on them to have to hear that constantly when they know the opposite to be true. And so I just try to stay as committed to them as possible and as consistent in them hearing how much we appreciate that, and continuing to drive home the messaging of staying together, through this tough season. And they've done a great job of adhering to it, and embodying that, on and off the court.
Go to Andy, and we'll close out with Julia and Carly, Brian.
Coach, now that the offseason's beginning, after your first year, what sort of work are you looking to get back to in this offseason to, have this team ready to go for year 2 of the Marsh era?
I'm a 49ers fan, and so I'm going to enjoy some 49ers football as much as I can for now. But once we get back to work, I plan on spending some time traveling to our players that we know will be here next year, and spending some time with them. I want to be able to see Unrivaled. I want to be able to get out to Athletes Unlimited. I want to be able to get overseas and see some as well. But I think for now, I just want to enjoy some time with my family, reflect on the season, put together a plan for the off season, and then move forward from there.
Tyler, you talked kind of about the concept of like the stigma maybe following the team into the off season. How do you guys realistically combat that? Again, kind of just in the free agency perspective of it, how do you combat the idea that maybe there is a little bit of a stigma or a little bit of a negative perception that you feel like maybe isn't reflected in the reality of the team?
Yeah, I think we have to be prepared and ready to answer the tough questions that come with the pursuit of free agents and draft picks and agency and things of that nature. And again, being honest and transparent with who we are and who we want to be and what the process looks like to get there. I think that the players in this league are extremely smart. Veteran players around this league know what it takes to be successful on and off the court. And we have to be committed to and reflect those ideals as well. And I think we are.
Of your 2 rookies in both Haley and Maddie, what do you want to see them work on in the offseason, both basketball-wise and non-basketball wise?
For Haley, it's health first and foremost. We want her to be as healthy as possible. She's gone several years now straight of just continual basketball, and so we want her to get healthy. I think that the balance of being a combo guard in this league looks like. So continuing to find that balance of being able to handle pressure, but also being able to stretch the floor, to read defenses, to command offenses. So that's from Haley's standpoint. The work ethic is already there. The character is already there. And same with Maddie. And then for her, it's about being able to stretch the floor even more than what she did today, but being more comfortable with doing so. I think that with Maddie, it's a lot about adapting and adjusting to the pace consistently. I spoke the other day about it's natural for a rookie to kind of to feel the game out when they come off the bench and kind of see where they can get in, where they fit in type. But sometimes you don't have the luxury of having that much time to do so. Like once you're in the game, you got to be expected to go. And so going into her second year, it's less of an adjustment to what the pace looks like and more about now finding her niche in terms of where she fits in, schematically. And so that's how I'll leave it with those 2.
As your group basically embarks on the off season, what message did you impart on the team as you guys were kind of parting?
It was more so the gratitude and appreciation for this year. I think there's so much up in the air going into next year that I don't want any of them to right now in this moment feel the burden that comes with that or the pressure that comes with that. So just enjoying each other for now and in the moment. I'm sure they'll have some fun tonight and hopefully they'll be safe. But it was less about what it will look like moving forward and harping more on what it looks like right now for all of us in this moment and today. And so we just wanted to be present in that and uplift each other in that. So.
Coach, I know you alluded to the negativity and stigma of everything that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. It's kind of hard to avoid. And I know as a coach, you could speak to, the value of all your players, but regarding Angel specifically, what value does she bring to this franchise now that you have gone through a season with her?
When we talk about commit and compete, that's who Angel is and has been. She is a competitor at the very core, and the criticism that she gets daily isn't fair, and that is beyond from this year. That extends from years in the past. And so I think that she's someone that we also got to remember is in her early 20s as well, in a position that not many of us know what it's like to be in, on and off the court. And the grace that she deserves as well should be afforded to her. And regardless of what her stardom looks like, and it's unfortunate that she has to go through certain things that she has to go through, but she has a really good support system around her. We try to uplift her as much as possible. But I think that there's a human element that is missing sometimes when we speak on players, particularly in Angel's light. And so there's a whole lot of good that Angel embodies as well. And I think that should be talked about just as much as all the other stuff.